The front doors of houses used by asylum seekers in Middlesborough are to be repainted after claims they were targeted because nearly all of the doors were red. Asylum seekers told the Times newspaper that they had eggs and stones thrown at their houses because the doors made them easy to identify. Security firm G4S said that there is no policy to house asylum seekers behind red doors, but that around 150 doors will be repainted. But with me now is Zoe Gardner from the asylum seeker rights charity Asylum Aid. What do you think about these front doors being red?
Well, it sounds like there wasn't a deliberate policy in terms of marking out asylum seekers as a signal to extremists, but it's a serious oversight not to consider the fact that if you're trying to crudely identify for your own workers which houses are housing asylum seekers, that it might create dangerous situations for those people who are in them. So it's a serious oversight at best, and it's very welcome that the Home Office is going to conduct an audit to look into the situation for asylum seekers in the northeast, because there are numerous problems with the dispersal policy that ends up with asylum seekers being housed in poor quality accommodation, often in very deprived areas, often grouped together. And it can lead to these situations where vulnerable families are being attacked, which is totally unacceptable.
What sort of things have you heard about arising from issues with the red doors?
The red doors in particular, it does seem that even when, so within these areas, because they were known in the general population to be asylum seekers' houses had red doors, then they were targeted. We have reports for people, as you said, having stones thrown, eggs thrown, verbal abuse, and that when there's a heart-rending story of when some asylum seekers saved up over several months because they're given such little money to live off. They saved up enough to buy a bucket of paint and a paintbrush to paint their door another colour, and that it was then repainted in red. So it does seem that there was some kind of policy, as I say, probably not with the intention of marking people out for attacks, but just an ill-thought-through policy to identify asylum seeker houses. And
the private company that owns the houses, which are rented out, says it paints them all red just for identification purposes for the company itself.
Yes, and that obviously is likely to lead to dangerous situations in a context where, unfortunately, the rhetoric surrounding asylum seekers in this country is completely irresponsible. And the truth about the situation, that these are vulnerable people, that there aren't so many of them, that the UK can't cope with them, is not getting out there. And there needs to be more of an effort to get that true message out, that these are ordinary people just like us who've gone through terrible situations, and there needs to be more effort to work on that community cohesion so that these attacks don't happen, not just because the doors are red or another colour, but because...
Zoe, we must leave it there. Zoe Gardner from Asylum Aid, thank you very much. The former Justice